Legendary ice cream is made right here in Michigan, and nothing beats their refreshing lemonade, which we know is the official lemonade of Mackinac Island. Whether you're hitting the lake, hosting a backyard barbecue, or just soaking up the sunshine, Guernsey's got your summer cravings covered. They have been the staple in Michigan fridges for over 80 years, and I choose to have the ice cream, the lemonade in our house. When John McGuire started Guernsey Farms Dairy, he had a vision, and now it's continued with the family's third generation. John wanted to create a legacy for his family and the community, and the McGuire family is proud to continue that work today. Guernsey now delivers over 70,000 gallons of milk a week because of their great team and its partnership with one of Michigan's oldest family-owned fourth-generation dairy processors, Walnutdale Farms in Wayland, Michigan. Remember, when looking for Guernsey's award-winning milk, ice cream, and lemonade, make sure to visit your local grocer or stop by their store and restaurant in Northville for an experience like no other.
It's not just morning, it's a JR morning with Chris Renwick, Lloyd Jackson, and Jamie Edmonds on 760 WJR and on the WJR app, where Michigan comes to talk.
6:06 here on a Wednesday. Good morning.
Hump Day Wednesday.
It's a hump day. Good morning, Lloyd. How are you?
I am doing well on this hump day.
Yeah. And boy, we got a lot to talk about. So the Gordie Howe Bridge, Donald Trump issued these new round of tariffs on Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest, it felt like none of that was going to have an impact on the opening of this bridge.
No.
Felt like things were, because there were already negotiations going forward. Things had been set in stone.
And we got the date for the actual opening of
we
the
had a
bridge.
day before.
Well, the 27th is still the date it's supposed to be opening. They were going to have the ribbon cutting, I believe, that Friday.
Yes, so the ribbon cutting has now been scrapped,
Yes.
according to Canadian leaders in the Detroit Free Press. Canadian leaders saying they plan to cancel a joint U.S.-Canada event planned for Friday to celebrate the opening of the Gordie Howe International Bridge. But the good news here is the planned opening of the bridge is still expected to be on.
Okay.
So maybe just there isn't the pomp and circumstance,
The ceremonial stuff. And
with the giant oversized scissors.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Let's just, at this, do you ever get to the point where, like, you've been waiting for something for so long? Or, like, maybe you go see a movie and you hear about how great it is, and then you go see it and you're like, I'm glad I saw it, but.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
But it wasn't anything. That's where I think we're at with this. It's like let's just open this bridge.
Get it open.
Just open the gates and let people roll through.
Yeah. No.
So the good news is it still sounds like it is going to be opened on the 27th, but yet we are maybe just won't have the ribbon cutting ceremony.
Well, and speaking of the 27th, we're hearing that the president will be in town. President Trump headed to Metro Detroit next week for a campaign rally. The president will be in Oakland County on Monday, the day that the new Gordie Howe International Bridge is set to open. The president previously threatened to block the project, demanding Canada give U.S. a stake in the bridge as part of a broader trade dispute between the two countries. The $4.4 billion bridge project, financed by Canada and negotiated under former Michigan Governor Rick Snyder, has been under construction since 2018. It's going to open, as we said, officially on the 27th, and the president will be here on that day.
Making a full court press.
Yes.
Right at this point for voters here in the state of Michigan. Obviously, that's important when you consider that things in Iran continue to continue 11 now night of strikes. The United States has targeted Iran military operations, military capabilities, maritime capabilities, aircraft hangars, drone storage facilities, military logistics. It's Groundhog's Day. I mean, these are the things that they have been targeting for, over a week now.
Yeah.
And yet, Iran's still claiming new attacks on U.S. bases in Kuwait. They've launched a wave of drone attacks targeting U.S. Army ammunition storage and logistical sites at Camp Doha in Kuwait. That's according to a statement out of Iran. No word on damage done there, but that continues. And the president had this conversation with the president of Lebanon yesterday.
Uh-huh.
And what's interesting about that, at least in my mind, is like he is reaching out to the Friends of Iran.
Yes.
Now, Lebanon as a government, as a state government, isn't necessarily on board with Iran, but Hezbollah is.
Yep.
And you can say whatever you want. Hezbollah runs that country.
Absolutely.
Like if the government gives out some sort of edict, Hezbollah ain't listening to it.
No.
Right. So the fact that the president is bringing Lebanon into the fold, to make good after the ongoing back and forth between Israel and Lebanon, you're bringing in somebody else in the region. You're bringing them in under your wing, which only, in my view, puts the constraints on Iran a little tighter. You're squeezing them a little tighter now, right? Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, all these countries that they have been under siege from Iran. All of a sudden, they're not happy. Now, Lebanon isn't really happy. And so the United States, well, come on over. Join our party.
Yeah. Come on in.
We got brownies and Coca-Cola.
Come on. The water's good.
It's going to be nice.
Water's fine.
So you're just making things a little more difficult in the region.
The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services says 6,571 cases have been reported of cyclospora. As of yesterday, it's an increase of more than 400 from the day before. More than 100 people have been hospitalized with symptoms as of last week. Officials say the source of the outbreak remains difficult to pinpoint. A voluntary recall of some Taylor Farms iceberg lettuce products from Mexico was issued over a possible connection, but the FDA says testing of one sample resulted in a false positive. Health experts say cyclospora is especially challenging to track because the parasite does not leave behind a genetic fingerprint, forcing investigators to rely heavily on patient interviews. The FDA is advising consumers not to eat recalled lettuce or lettuce served at Taco Bell and other restaurants if the source is unknown. Health officials recommend buying whole heads of lettuce, removing outer leaves, washing thoroughly, and cooking greens when possible.
Hard to cook salad.
Yeah. But, greens.
That sounds really unappealing.
Collard greens, those kind of greens. Yeah, you got to make sure you cook them. But, salad, lettuce, greens. Yeah, I don't know.
Tigers lose last night 11-2. They get drubbed by the Cubbies in Wrigleyville. We've been talking about what is going to go down at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
And they have to, it seems like, they got to play really, really, really good baseball.
And they were, for the most part, after after the All-Star break. But
for sure.
Got to be consistent, though.
But the trade deadline is August 3rd, Monday, August 3rd. And this is a very important stretch for them. So they lose last night, rubber match tonight against the Cubs. That game will be on ESPN, by the way. And they're looking to win that series, right? Win the series. That's all you got to do. Win the series.
That's
Take
the
2 or
line.
3.
Yes.
Well, Shohei Ohtani's banged up. He's hurt. The back-to-back Los Angeles Dodgers, the Super Bowl or the World Series winners, they're looking for a way to keep the boat afloat without Ohtani. Okay. Well, according to a report out of ESPN, at this point, the Tigers are likely to keep Tarek Skubal and make a push.
Okay.
But if they falter in some way, if they're not winning series, if they don't look particularly good, they're not playing that really, really good baseball they need to play.
Yeah.
Then it sounds like Skubal will be up for grabs. And maybe the most likely landing spot would be the LA Dodgers. But there's a lot of variables now in the mix of this. And again, if you look at this team today, are they a World Series contender?
I wouldn't say that.
Probably not.
I wouldn't say that.
Then if the answer is probably not, then I think he needs to be dealt. But we'll see. We'll see how they play over the next week and a half.
So they don't have much time.
They don't have much time.
They don't have much time.
Time is of the essence.
Yes.
How rampant is non-citizen voting here in the United States? We'll talk about it next on JR Morning.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit Pfizerforall.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 30% with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Hey there, WJR listeners. Chris Alberta here at Principium. Listen, your bucket of money, that precious little gem that's taken you a lifetime to accumulate, it's been growing. And if you're anything like all of my clients, you were worried that it might not be enough to supplement your retirement, especially if the markets have a downturn. All these incredible investment and insurance tools these days, they've been designed to address specific problems and concerns. But most folks I see every week, they have the wrong stuff. You know why? Because no one's taking the time to actually invest in them and diagnose the actual problem, the actual concern. Yeah, look, my process, it's laborious, but it's worth it. The results and the peace of mind are a byproduct of us learning together. If you're retired or nearing retirement, it's time for you to dig in with me. We can increase the reward and we can decrease the risk. It's a win-win. So stop going to steak dinners, free steak dinners offered by financial salespeople. Invest in yourself with me at my office on your timetable with zero pressure. Call me today, Chris Alberta at Principium, 1-888-800-8949.
Are you an adult with uncontrolled moderate to severe Crohn's disease symptoms and still packing a backup bag of clothes? Just in case? Skyrizi Risankizumab Riza can help you take control of your Crohn's. Feel significant symptom relief, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements at 4 weeks. Plus, Skyrizi is proven to help people achieve remission and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Individual results may vary. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's. Ready to take control of your Crohn's? Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's disease.
Control is everything to me.
Learn more at skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI.
Hi, it's Paul W. Smith. Summer's in full swing. You can still enjoy it fully thanks to Dr. Saul Kogan at the Nerve and Disc Institute. His non-invasive, non-surgical intradisc neutrosis treatment for spinal stenosis, bulging and herniated discs, sciatica pain, and degenerative disc disease has helped thousands feel better without drugs, shots, or surgery. One patient said, I quote, "I've suffered with severe back pain for 30 years, surgeries, implanted stimulation devices, opioids, laminectomies, injections, nothing worked. At the Nerve and Disc Institute, my pain went away in 3 weeks. If I had to start over today, I'd try this first, and so should you." End of quote. Dr. Kogan's non-surgical Knee Restore RX treatment helps get rid of severe knee pain from osteoarthritis and meniscus tears. Mention WJR in July and get a consultation, exam, X-ray or MRI review, and laser treatment for only $49 on your first visit. The Nerve and Disc Institute, Farmington, Clinton Township, Grand Blanc, and Bad Axe. 586-416-DISC. 586-416-DISC.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Tired of overpriced blinds? Blindster makes custom blinds simple and affordable. You measure at home, install yourself, and save big. No retail store markups, just custom blinds guaranteed to fit. Blindster.com.
WJR Traffic First is also sponsored by the National Electrical Contractors Association, NECA. Put the expertise and skill of NECA contractors to work on your commercial, public, industrial, or residential electrical construction project. NECA member contractors are powering Michigan's future. Project after project, on time and on budget. Learn more at smcnica.org. Fort Street in both directions. That is closed between Oakwood Boulevard and Miller Road. The Fort Street Bridge there closed until further notice. Avoid that area. Construction has the left lane closed. I-94 eastbound between I-275 and Greenfield Road. You'll find road work has the 2 left lanes closed, causing slowdowns on the Southfield Freeway northbound between Ford Road and I-96. That's scheduled till 4 o'clock this afternoon. And construction has the left lane closed. I-94 westbound between Harper Avenue and Little Mac. That's scheduled till 7 o'clock Friday evening. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Here's your forecast.
Expect some dry weather if you're going to be out on this Wednesday. Clear this morning, a sunny and breezy afternoon with a high to mid-70s. Clouds will increase this evening with a low tonight down to 56. And a sunny Thursday with a high of 78. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Jeff Marr on 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Hi, it's Paul W. Smith. Join us middle of the week, Wednesday from noon till 2. Focus with Paul W. Smith. We'll welcome, among others, Congresswoman Lisa McClain. Hey, everyone's talking about the smoke from Canada. Who's doing anything about it? Well, apparently the Congresswoman has written a letter to Canada regarding the wildfire smoke. We'll find out together what's in that letter. That and much more, noon to 2, Wednesday, in Focus on WJR.
So one of the things that the president has claimed, for many years, was that non-citizens were voting in our elections. It was muddying the waters. It was creating all sorts of havoc and rampant fraud. And the numbers just don't necessarily bear that out. The Heritage Foundation, the right-leaning think tank, says that it's not an issue. I mean, the numbers just don't show that there are so many non-citizens voting that it is outright swaying federal elections.
Right.
Problem is you get stories like yesterday where it becomes apparent that over 6,000 non-citizens were accidentally added to New Jersey's voter rolls through an error in their DMV software. And Mikey Sherrill came out, the governor of New Jersey, and said this is unacceptable. It's unacceptable that the last administration there in New Jersey didn't point this out, didn't come to light, that the fact that they allowed this software to go through, that it took a year for the DMV to actually find this error.
Yeah.
But the reality is that only bolsters the Trump claim that there are so many people on these rolls. It bolsters the claim why they want to go into states and look at their voter rolls. It only gives fuel to that fire. Let's talk about it. Tom Howells, the reporter at Reuters, joins us to talk about this story. Tom, good morning. It's good to have you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
What do the numbers show in terms of non-citizens voting in federal elections?
What Reuters looked at, we went through all of the people who've ever been convicted of this crime. There's a federal crime called voting as an alien. We pulled up all those records, went through all the case files and whatnot, and we found there's been 129 people charged, and only 73 have ever been convicted. And that law has been on the books for 30 years. So it's like you said, it's incredibly rare. And when you look at who is actually doing this, it looks an awful lot like maybe voting by mistake is really what it is. It's people who are registered by accident. I'd love to tell you some of the stories I found. They're just incredible stories of people who accidentally voted.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Share one or two, because I'd love to know how somebody accidentally votes.
Yes.
Right. It sounds pretty bizarre. Well, we focused on a woman named Dora D'Amata. Dora voted in the 2016 election. She was on YouTube, and she thought she saw a video that said President Obama had issued an executive order allowing long-term legal residents. She was a resident of the United States and she was 18. She's now 72. She thought she was allowed to vote. So she went to the election office. She handed him her driver's license. In North Carolina, a driver's license has a stamp on it saying limited term if you're only in the United States for a limited period of time. That's what her driver's license said. They registered her to vote. So she naturally thought this was obviously Obama was right. What she saw on YouTube was right. She went to vote in the election. Again, she handed over her driver's license as ID. Again, she was allowed to vote. And she cast her ballot for Donald Trump. For Donald Trump. She's a big Trump supporter. And then 2 years later, the Trump administration was investigating people who had voted illegally in North Carolina. She got caught up in that. She pled guilty and she was sentenced. She got a pretty long sentence for this. She got 14 days in jail. Most people just pay a fine, typically around $100, $200. And she served her time and got out. And then that was in 2019. In 2025, in December, she was going through an airport in Houston, and she got pulled out of line to passport check, interviewed, and they put her into a detention center in Texas, where she remained until June, and she was deported back to Panama. So Panama, she hasn't been in Panama since she was 18.
Wow.
50 years in the United States, and she got deported for this vote. Unfortunately, while the crime is a misdemeanor, it is a circumstance under which immigration authorities can deport somebody. So, it's kind of treated like a speeding ticket by judges, $100, $200 fine, but immigration authorities consider it a very, very serious crime. And we found a lot of examples like Dora. We found college students who had been registered while signing up for financial aid, people who got stopped by canvassers at the door and were registered to vote, often telling the people, I'm not a U.S. citizen. And, it doesn't happen very often, but it does happen where somebody mistakenly tells them, you can still vote, it's okay, you're married to a citizen, or you have a green card or whatever, and the people then go vote.
Your report also notes that Republicans, Democrats, and unaffiliated voters all appeared among those prosecuted. So does that kind of change the narrative that this is primarily a partisan effort to influence elections?
Yeah, definitely there is no trend or any kind of indication that this is done by a single party to support certain candidates. We didn't find anybody who had been paid. We didn't find anybody who was, dragged to the polls by a certain party or candidate. So yeah, the conclusion you can come to is that, Donald Trump is using this to try to get his Save America Act passed and to try to cast doubt on elections that don't look very good from the polling for him in November.
But how does then this situation, for example, in New Jersey, change the narrative of this topic?
Yeah, it's interesting what happened in New Jersey, really timely too. So there are 4 or 5 people being prosecuted right now in New Jersey, and I do wonder if they were caught up in this software glitch. In New Jersey, when you renew your driver's license, you are automatically registered to vote unless you tick a box saying, don't register me to vote. Now, it does say on there in big letters, you have to be a U.S. citizen and all that, but, does everybody read the fine print? No, not everybody reads the fine print. And certainly when English is not your first language and when you're new to the country, you might be confused. So I think that's probably what happened with these 6,000 people. My guess is now 400 of them voted. That's a pretty serious problem for those 400 people. I don't know if that was enough to sway any elections or anything like that. My guess is probably not. New Jersey is a pretty democratic state. The elections aren't very close. But those people could now be deported, and that's a pretty serious disruption to their life, obviously, and their families and everything else. And hopefully their situation will be, what happened will be considered by immigration authorities.
Tom Howells, appreciate the time this morning. Thank you for your reporting. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
Yeah, you got it.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers just aren't there. The numbers aren't there. But again, like, look, we moved out of my house, right? We sold my house, and now we're getting ready for the next move into the new house.
Yeah.
You think I was making sure I was reading everything as I was signing my life away to sell my home?
Yeah, nobody.
Yeah. So if you're somebody here that is undocumented or here illegally, I feel like you would make sure you were reading all of the information as you were signing up for your driver's license.
You would think.
You would think. Take a break. More next on JR Morning.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. An elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
Summer storms can spell disaster for your roof and more. At Home Genius Exteriors, we stop the damage before it starts. Call now during our summer savings event and get 50% off materials for your new roof. Plus, no interest and no payments till 2027. Call Home Genius Exteriors at 866-451-5470 to schedule your free roof and attic inspection. That's 866-451-5470. Home Genius Exteriors, the genius choice in roofing. See website for details.
These days, it feels like everything costs more, and healthcare is no different. But what many people don't realize is that rising hospital costs, prescription prices, and more people needing care all affect what Michigan families pay. That's why Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan is ready to help by lowering drug costs, focusing on preventive care, and improving quality while reducing unnecessary costs. Because affordability matters to everyone, and progress is happening. Learn more about what Blue Cross is doing to help at mibluedaily.com/affordability.
Fox News, I'm CJ Papa. Heavy U.S. strikes inside Iran, marking the 11th straight night of attacks.
This time, the target list expanding. Reports indicate deeper strikes into Iranian territory as the United States works to secure the Strait of Hormuz. The strait remains largely at a standstill, with just 3 commercial vessels passing through on Tuesday, according to Kepler shipping data.
Fox's Trey Yanks in Tel Aviv. Secretary of State Marco Rubio speaks after meeting China's foreign minister in the Philippines, saying
Iran's in a lot of trouble.
The secretary adding, nothing China has done has changed the trajectory of the conflict with Iran. A theme from Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs.
Let's make this the year that we turn Arizona red again.
He captures the Republican primary, will challenge Democratic incumbent Governor Katie Hobbs in November. America's listening to Fox News.
WJR traffic and weather first.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Tired of overpriced blinds? Blindster makes custom blinds simple and affordable. You measure at home, install yourself, and save big. No retail store markups, just custom blinds guaranteed to fit. Blindster.com.
WJR Traffic First is also sponsored by Skyworks Equipment Rental. Big summer projects start with the right equipment, whether you're a homeowner tackling a weekend job or a contractor managing a major project. Skyworks Equipment Rental has the lifts, loaders, excavators, and tools you need to rent today or reserve ahead of time at skyworks-relieblерentals.com. Fort Street in both directions between Oakwood Boulevard and Miller Road. The Fort Street Bridge there is closed. And to avoid that area until further notice, construction has the left lane closed. I-94 eastbound between I-275 and Greenfield Road. You'll find construction has the 2 left lanes closed. That's causing slowdowns on the Southfield Freeway northbound between Ford Road and I-96. That's scheduled till 4 o'clock this afternoon. And road work has your left lane closed. I-94 westbound between Harper Avenue and Little Mac. That's scheduled till 7 o'clock Friday evening. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. A mix of sun and clouds for the day today. High of 76 degrees. Partly cloudy skies overnight. Low of 56. Mostly sunny. Beautiful for the day on Thursday. High of 78. I'm Jason Fissler for WJR Traffic and Weather First.
The ultimate fan experience. COSM is coming to Detroit. Go beyond the screen for live sports, movies, art, and entertainment without ever leaving your seat. When you can't be there, be at COSM.
I'm John James. A few years ago, they called me a fearmonger when I warned about socialism and communism on the rise. Well, here we are. Socialist radicals are taking over the Democrat Party you used to know. And Michigan is ground zero. Now our healthcare is unaffordable. They're twisting the minds of our children, letting illegals vote and steal our Medicaid. They sympathize with terrorists. They say the most important thing they can do is take America down from within. As a West Point graduate and a former U.S. Army captain, I have a word for that: treason. Socialism's not just on our doorstep, it's inside the house. Republicans need a strong, tested leader who will first kneel and pray, and then stand and fight for Michigan and for our republic. I'm John James. I fought evil abroad with an Apache helicopter so we wouldn't have to fight it here. But now that it's come, we will put on the full armor of God and defeat it right here in Michigan, together. Paid for by John James for MI.
Scrolling with Haley. Join Haley Caronia as she scrolls through the biggest headlines.
If you haven't watched this show before, we do blind reactions. I have not seen these videos, so I am seeing them for the first time with all of you. We're going to implement the tinfoil hat time segments and all the stuff you know and love. And I'm going to finish the show and answer some of your questions. Someone asked me what made you get into podcasting, and I was producing podcasts for other people. Then I was like, I could do this for myself, and here I am.
Scrolling with Haley. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Your sign is your company's calling card, your identity, your brand, and your first impression. The experts at Identicom Signs provide complete turnkey signage solutions, handling every detail from design and permitting to fabrication and installation. Whether you're a restaurant, retailer, healthcare provider, or other commercial business, Identicom Signs can help elevate your company's image. If your brand needs freshening up, visit IdenticomSigns.com. That's IdenticomSigns.com.
I'm Rich Adamo, the owner of Adamo Group, a family-owned business founded in 1964 that performs demolition and environmental remediation work across the United States. For over 20 years, we've known that Tryon has always been there for us and will take care of all of our payroll needs as well as our HR so that we can remain focused on our customers and our core business. And that's why we rely on Tryon.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Paul W. Smith can be found on Focus from noon to 2 p.m. on 760 WJR. Now back to JR Morning with Chris Renwick, Lloyd Jackson, and Jamie Edmonds.
Well, we talk a lot about AI and how that is going to impact, everything from our economy, the job network of the opportunities that are going to be available, especially for kids coming out of college. What are you going to do? All of these things.
Yeah.
And we have talked a lot about how artificial intelligence could potentially, for the better, impact the medical field. And when it comes to specific diagnosis or using technology to spot things in an X-ray that maybe aren't detectable through human eye.
Yeah.
All of these things are really can be very impactful. Well, artificial intelligence is also dramatically speeding up drug development. And there is a new proprietary survey out that shows it is playing a much bigger role in changing the trajectory of early stage pharmaceutical research. Let's talk about it. Brendan Smith is the Director of Life Science Equity Research at TD Cowen and joins us this morning. Brendan, it's great to have you.
Great to be with you guys. Good morning.
How are companies like TD Cowen, for example, or in your survey that you're seeing of these pharmaceutical leaders, how are they utilizing this technology for the development of pharmaceutical drugs?
Yeah, it's a great question to kind of level set the whole conversation, right? Because the way that these guys are using this technology is very different than I think a lot of the ways that you or I would use it in our regular day-to-day life, right? And I think the entire drug development process often goes from, hey, I have an idea for target X to try to treat or cure breast cancer, right? All the way up through, testing in cells and different animal models up into human trials in phase 1, 2, 3, and then hopefully commercialization if the drug is successful beyond that. But where most of this AI technology is being used is in that very, very early stage, right? Kind of iterating in and around, I've got an idea, let me run through all the possible structures to try to settle on one that might work. And that process in and of itself historically can take up to 4 to 5 years just from idea to actual candidate. And what we're seeing now with a lot of the technology that's being used, it helps them iterate through a bunch of different structures, test a bunch of the different parameters that they would potentially need to get a successful drug, and then iterate back and forth much faster, to the point where that time is now in many instances shrunk to as quick as 12 to 18 months. So what we're seeing is a lot of cost and time savings in that very, very early stage already.
AI is often portrayed as replacing human workers, but in this case, you say that it can't replace scientific intuition. How are researchers and AI kind of working together rather than, one replacing the other?
Yeah, that's also a really important point here too, right? Because at the end of the day, a lot of these ideas need to ultimately come from people. I think it's much less kind of a chat GPT of drug discovery, and we're much more in the stage of, I need to generate a whole bunch of data, wet lab data, experimental data from a whole bunch of different types of experiments to actually set up any kind of predictive model. So what AI is really good at within healthcare is taking a whole bunch of information that is in all these different silos and really making it much more streamlined to access that and ask it some questions about data that's already been generated. But in order to get any kind of predictive value out of it, we're really in this early stage of, let me just actually generate a bunch more data to be able to feed into some of these models. And ultimately that work still is by and large needing to be done by actual people on the ground and running some of these experiments, designing some of these experiments, and then using some of what they glean out of that to then train some of the AI models. So we're not quite in the, the trade-off between wholesale labor versus AI. It's really kind of in the streamlining of the labor force's workload today.
Your analogy is you're creating more shots on goal, which I think is a good one.
It is. Yeah.
But not all shots on goal are created equal. If you're firing the puck directly at the netminder, all of a sudden, yeah, it's a shot on goal, but it's not a quality scoring chance.
Mm-hmm.
And so do you find that just because there are more opportunities to find a solution to a problem, does it muddy the waters at all?
I actually am surprised more people aren't asking that kind of question. And I think what's important to remember here is within drug development, I mean, this is a space that historically and notoriously is just rife with inefficiencies and frankly failure, right? 95% of drugs fail at some point between I have an idea through phase 3 clinical development, somewhere along that spectrum, often costing millions and millions of dollars, sometimes taking as long as, 8 to 10 years. So there are a lot of different aspects of that entire spectrum that can and realistically are already being targeted with some of this technology to kind of just move the needle even incrementally, right? And if you think about a 95% failure rate going to 90% failure rate, that doesn't sound particularly good, but in effect, that's twice as many potentially viable drugs that are available, right? So I think it's important to kind of keep the context of some of this. Absolutely not everything that's going to come out of this efficiency-born volume ad is going to be a winner. But I think, when we're seeing the kinds of cost and time savings that we're starting to see in early drug development, it at least allows us to kind of reinvest some of that time and cost right into kind of adding a few more shots on goal. And statistically, that should, in theory, hopefully get us to some better results down the line. At the same time, hopefully some of the AI predictions are at the same time also giving us actual better drugs during the shots on goal. So it should work in tandem.
And, we're also seeing that push to reduce animal testing in biomedical research. Could AI and advanced modeling tools kind of accelerate that transition or and what are the potential benefits and challenges of something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think around the spring of last year, the FDA at the federal level kind of more or less formalized this as an initiative. This has been a long-standing push from a lot of folks, not just in biotech and pharmaceutical companies, but frankly, even in Washington. And I think from a lot of people, even on the outside, who don't necessarily understand why a lot of these animals need to be involved in a lot of drug testing to begin with. So this is something that has had momentum for a while. There are a lot of different computational tools that can help, I think, supplement some of the data that needs to be generated. But ultimately, it's a question of, how safe is a given structure that we want to test in human studies? And what are some of the options to answer some of the questions we need to actually, sign off on doing that? And ultimately so it's kind of a combination of, I don't expect all of the data that needs to be generated historically using animal models to all of a sudden tomorrow be used with some of these AI computational tools. But we should over time get a better ratio of fewer animals required with some of the data that can hopefully supplement.
Very interesting. Brendan Smith, thank you for your time this morning. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's great to be with you guys. Have a great one.
You got it. Well, you do the same. More coming up on JR Morning.
Hey there, JR listeners. Chris Alberta from Principium. Look, I have an urgent message for you today about your retirement. I don't care if you already retired, you're a few months away, or you're a few years away. You're going to be unemployed soon. And you probably don't have a pension because you are your pension. Recent all-time highs in the market. Look, you're at the top of the mountain. And now we're in an Iranian conflict. AI might replace your job. And like it or not, you could be retired as long as you were working. But despite all that, it's the best time I have ever seen in my career to build you a retirement plan. The fixed rates are unbelievably good. Income models are killing it. You combine that with top-notch market management, and you're going to win. If you wait, you will lose. These rates will go down. You remember the 4% rule? My clients are using the 7% rule. They'll always have a paycheck, and that's freedom. Don't wait. Call me now, 888-800-8949. Call me, Chris Alberta, 888-800-8949.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Spring storms. 760 WJR will have you covered.
David is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Nice to meet you. My name is David. I've been a pharmacist for 44 years, and I'm from Flowery Branch, Georgia. When I first started taking Prevagen, I noticed stuff just seemed to come together and fit like a jigsaw puzzle. When I have customers come in, I recommend Prevagen. Number one, because it's safe and effective, does not require a prescription, and I've been taking it quite a while myself, and I know it works. I wouldn't recommend something like Prevagen if I didn't think it was worth it because it works so good for me. And I love it when the customers come back in and tell me, David, that really works so good. Makes my day.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
Point! Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
Oh, I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace, you're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Tired of overpriced blinds? Blindster makes custom blinds simple and affordable. You measure at home, install yourself, and save big. No retail store markups, just custom blinds guaranteed to fit. Blindster.com.
We are currently accident-free on the area roadways here on your Wednesday morning commute. We do have the Fort Street Bridge. That's closed in both directions between Oakwood Boulevard and Miller Road. Avoid that area until further notice. Construction has the left lane closed. I-94 eastbound between I-275 and Greenfield Road. Roadwork also has the two left lanes closed, causing slowdowns on the Southfield Freeway northbound between Ford Road and I-96. You'll find roadwork has the left lane closed. I-94 westbound between Harper Avenue and Little Mac. That's scheduled till 7 o'clock Friday evening, and we're experiencing slowdowns due to heavy volumes. I-94 eastbound between Livernois Avenue and Trumbull Street. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Here's your forecast.
High pressure is going to result in dry weather today. Clear early, and then afternoon sun. It will be windy at times with a high near 75. Clouds will increase this evening with an overnight low in the mid-50s and a sunny Thursday with a high of 78. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Jeff Marr on 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Call us or text us. The number's the same. 1-800-859-0957. 1-800-859-0WJR. Powered by Michigan Auto Law. Auto Accident Attorneys.
Visit Autolaw.com. That's Autolaw.com.
Well, if there is somebody on Earth that knows more about investigating voter fraud, I'd love to talk to them because as far as I know, it's Ken Block.
Yes.
Ken Block is a former software engineer. He founded Simpatico Software Systems. He was hired by the Trump campaign after the 2020 election to investigate their claims of voter fraud and analyze voter data in several key battleground states. And what he ended up with was a book. It was called Disproven, My Unbiased Search for Voter Fraud for the Trump Campaign, the data that shows why he lost and how we can improve our elections. And on the heels of the president's speech last week, in which he claims China stole millions of data points connected to voters here in the United States, that there is still outstanding issues with the 2020 election and how we can improve them going forward, we thought, well, we should probably get Ken Block back on the show to talk about it. And Ken joins us this morning. It's great to have you back.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So I'm curious to know what you made of the president's speech last week. And now we get word yesterday that 6,600 or so people were accidentally put on the voter rolls in New Jersey. It just kind of adds fuel to this fire that there is widespread voter fraud. But let's start with the president's comments last week. What did you make of them?
I think that President Trump used a healthy dose of, let's call it poetic license, in describing China's acquisition of all that voting data as a hack or as stolen. The documentation on the White House website that was put out there to back up his claims states in black and white that China actually bought the data, which I have done many times in my role of looking at voter data. Most secretaries of state and election authorities across the country make the voter rolls available to researchers. They make them available to candidates. So whether it's a statewide candidate or you're running for dog catcher, you can get the voter rolls to help you conduct your campaign. I don't believe that China's ownership of that data represents any risk at all, because if it was a risky thing, with all of the different candidates around the country who have that data, you would think they would have some of them would have even more reason to do something nefarious with it in their efforts to win their race. So it's fairly benign, and talking about it as something that was stolen is just, I don't believe that's a correct framing for it at all.
Ken, you spent more than 15 years or so analyzing election data. After all that work, how confident are you in the integrity of America's election system today?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And I will say, let's start with the really important piece of this. Throughout our election history, well, let's use modern election history. So since, let's say, 2010, which is really when everybody got their elections systems computerized, there's not been a single documented instance of massive voter fraud that changed an election results, certainly not at a level of statewide or national prominence. So is there any reason to believe that that's not the case? No, there really isn't. And since 2020, the number of claims that have been made and the amount of scrutiny over what happened has gone on and on and on. Every one of the claims since 2020 has not panned out. So no, I don't believe that the narrative that there's massive fraud exists. Now, can we clean things up, and should we clean things up? Absolutely. Some states have pretty clean voter data. Some states have fairly unclean data. I would call it dirty data, where they have people on the rolls that shouldn't be there, and it's very possible to clean them up. They should be cleaned up. But do I think that it represents a direct threat to the election? I don't, because there's a real difference between having somebody registered who shouldn't be versus having somebody registered who shouldn't be who actually casts a vote. And that's where the big difference arises. And by casting the vote, you're committing a felony if you're not properly able to cast a vote. And there's just not that many people willing to commit a felony to create one extra vote somewhere.
Right.
And in the small number of instances where that has happened, people have been caught. And I actually helped catch some of the people who did that. So no, I don't think it's massively there. I think that we definitely want to clean things up. And honestly, our elections are rigged, but not in the way that when we talk about theft, the idea of gerrymandering, where partisan election officials change the districts around in order to manufacture a result, right? And we've seen states do this. California has done it. Texas has done it. That's rigging our elections, and that actually, I think, is probably the biggest threat to our election system that we have right now. Because if we know that the outcome has been determined before anybody casts a vote, what's the point in casting a vote?
Ken, I'm curious to know what your perspective is on the Save America Act. Is that something that you see would be beneficial for our elections?
In totality, no, not all of it. Are some of what the Save America Act proposes to do pretty reasonable things? I think some are reasonable, some are not. Unfortunately, they're all piled into one monumental bill that makes it very difficult to pass. I would have preferred to have seen individual issues come out and get discussed. And again, when it comes to things like gerrymandering in particular, that didn't make it at all. So if I had my wish list of things that were important to do to change our elections, none of the things that are in the Save America Act are in my top 2 or 3.
And we got about a minute left. You were hired by President Trump's own campaign, but your conclusions didn't support the claims of widespread fraud. Was there ever any pressure to reach a different conclusion, or did the data simply just lead where it led?
Well, so when I negotiated the ground rules for what we were going to do, the lawyer on the Trump campaign that I worked with wanted the truth. He didn't want me to manufacture a result, and if he did, I wouldn't have done it in the first place. And most importantly, he set things up so that nobody knew who was doing this work. The White House didn't know. Other people on the campaign didn't know. So there was no pressure whatsoever, which was very important, because obviously if it was known that I was doing this work, I would have been under tremendous pressure, and that did not happen. And that's to the great credit of the lawyer that I worked for.
Ken Block, we always appreciate your time. Thanks for carving out a couple of minutes for us. We appreciate you. We'll talk again very soon.
Very good. Thank you.
You got it. That's Ken Block.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, the data just shows what the data shows.
Well, and it still shows what the data shows.
Yes.
And I think that's the important part here is
Yes.
no matter what these claims are, there is data to prove potentially otherwise. We'll take a break, get you caught up on the headlines. Patrick Anderson also joins us in the next hour. What is the economic impact of the Canadian wildfire smoke that we were experiencing last week? We'll talk about it at JR Morning.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season. I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 215-215. That's HIM to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Paid for by Adaptive Health.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 30% with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
This is the great voice of the Great Lakes, 760 WJR, Detroit, a Cumulus media station.
Bombing Iran for an 11th straight night. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Further putting the ceasefire and negotiations in the rearview mirror.
The president always prefers to negotiate and reach a deal on these things. And we're prepared, willing to do that. We've tried to do that now for a year and a half, but we're also not going to sit by and let ships be blown up or Americans be attacked.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio speaking this morning in the Philippines. He says they have to keep the Strait of Hormuz open, but Fox's Trey Yingst reports.
The strait remains largely at a standstill with just 3 commercial vessels passing through on Tuesday, according to Kepler shipping data. The other area of focus remains on Iran's nuclear program that President Trump says will be targeted in the days ahead.
Normally, I wouldn't say that. If I thought they could do something about it, I would never say that. But we'll be hitting that area pretty soon, and very heavily.
Oil prices keep rising back up more than 3%. Gas is up again today, too. The price at the pump, 17 cents higher than a week ago. War Secretary Pete Hegseth went to the Senate pushing for new military funding, and it got testy.
You don't have a strategy. You don't have a long-term plan to actually win this war. Win the war.
Senator Gary Peters among the Democrats who sparred with Hegseth.
When will you show
Why don't you show some leadership and stand up to your fellow Democrats who won't fund the troops, who stand and play partisan politics while you don't give us the money?
The ex-Venezuelan leader captured by the U.S. in January, Nicolas Maduro, who calls himself a political prisoner, returns to court today in New York City.
Alongside his wife, Celia Flores, for a pretrial hearing in his federal drug trafficking case. Today's hearing is expected to involve discussions around evidence discovery, future motions, and possibly set a trial date.
Fox's Ashley Strohmeyer, a congressman, wins a chance to become a governor.
Let's make this the year that we turn Arizona red again.
Andy Biggs beat fellow Congressman David Schweikert in the Republican primary and will try to unseat Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs in November. Another Trump-backed candidate, Mark Lamb, won the GOP primary to replace Biggs. America's listening to Fox News.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by RockAuto.com.
Oh, that grinding and squealing. What are you going to do about that?
Time for new brakes. The chain store never has what I need.
No worries. Go to rockauto.com for name brands at lower prices.
All the parts your car will ever need, Rock Auto.
4th Street in both directions. You'll find the bridge is closed there between Oakwood Boulevard and Miller Road. Avoid that area until further notice. Construction has the 2 left lanes closed, causing slowdowns on the Southfield Freeway northbound between Ford Road and I-96. You'll find construction has the left lane closed, 94 westbound between Harper and Little Mac Avenue. That's scheduled till 7 p.m. on Friday. And we're experiencing slowdowns due to heavy volumes I-94 eastbound between Livernois and Trumbull Street, and as well 275 northbound between Ann Arbor Road and M14. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. A mix of sun and clouds this afternoon with a high of 75 degrees. Partly cloudy skies overnight and mostly sunny for the day on Thursday with a high of 78. I'm Jason Fissler for WJR Traffic and Weather First.
For more than 35 years, MetroCars has set the standard for professional transportation across Michigan and beyond. MetroCars is proud to serve as the official transportation provider of 760 WJR. Executives and business travelers trust MetroCars for dependable airport transportation and seamless corporate travel. From early morning departures to late night arrivals, their professional chauffeurs ensure every ride is punctual, comfortable, and stress-free. Choose MetroCars. MetroCars.com.
The ultimate fan experience, COSM is coming to Detroit. Go beyond the screen for live sports, movies, art, and entertainment without ever leaving your seat. When you can't be there, be at COSM.
Custom built for Detroit. 760 WJR.
At Average Amy's Coffee Corner, our coffee has caffeine, our muffins are cooked, and our services, well, we're here. Come on by for an average cup of joe.
Average doesn't build great businesses. Cumulus Digital does, outperforming industry benchmarks by more than 25%. We deliver smarter digital marketing to over 4,000 local businesses every month and drive real, measurable growth. You're not average. Your marketing results shouldn't be either. Visit cumulusdigital.com to start outperforming today.
Your sign is your company's calling card, your identity, your brand, and your first impression. The experts at Identicom Signs provide complete turnkey signage solutions, handling every detail from design and permitting to fabrication and installation. Whether you're a restaurant, retailer, healthcare provider, or other commercial business, Identicom Signs can help elevate your company's image. If your brand needs freshening up, visit Identicomsigns.com. That's Identicomsigns.com.
It's another JR Morning with Chris Renwick, Lloyd Jackson, and Jamie Edmonds on 760 WJR and streaming on WJR.com, where Michigan comes to talk.
7 o'clock hour here on a Wednesday. It's good to have you. And some news yesterday that Canadian officials told Michigan officials that they plan to cancel a joint U.S.-Canada event that was planned for Friday. A ribbon-cutting ceremony to celebrate the opening of the Gordie Howe Bridge is off. And the bridge is still expected to open
on Monday the 27th.
But according to the Detroit News and sources that they attribute this to is that Canada was the one who pulled the ripcord on the ribbon-cutting event.
Because of the tariffs?
That's what it would seem like. That's what it would seem like.
It appears. Yeah.
And this ribbon cutting ceremony again was set after the agreement was reached, particularly on the splitting of the tolls. Initially, a lot of that toll money was going to go to Canada to help pay off the debt on building that bridge.
Right.
But then they got it to a 50-50% split, and everybody seemed to be pretty happy with that. So forward we went, and then this news comes a day after Donald Trump put these new 50% tariffs on a wide range of Canadian goods, cement, wine, hockey sticks.
Yeah.
Even. So if you read between the tea leaves, I don't know that they're real happy with that.
Well, and so this is basically going to kind of cut out the little pomp and circumstance, the big scissors, as you said, cutting the ribbon and all of that thing. But the actual bridge opening where cars can go across it still going to happen, supposedly, as far as we know, on the 27th, Monday. And that's also the day that the president is going to be here for a campaign rally.
Yeah.
So it's the same time. He's going to be in Oakland County, and we'll get more information as it becomes available. But he's going to be in Oakland County for a campaign rally on the 27th, just days after in-person voting begins, ahead of the August 4th primary.
Yeah. Not a surprise that Donald Trump is coming to Michigan.
No.
Ahead of these elections. I mean, look, I think it was 3 consecutive campaigns in a row in 2016, 2020, and 2024. He ended his campaign in Michigan.
Yes, he did.
I believe it was Grand Rapids.
Grand Rapids, yes, it was.
But he made Michigan a priority every single time. It shows you how up for grabs Michigan was and continues to be.
Still is, yeah. The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services says 6,571 cases of cyclosporiasis have been reported as of yesterday. It's an increase of more than 400 from the day before. More than 100 people have been hospitalized with symptoms as of last week, and officials say the source of the outbreak remains difficult to pinpoint. A voluntary recall of some Taylor Farms iceberg lettuce products from Mexico was issued over a possible connection, but at the FDA says testing of one sample resulted in a false positive. Meanwhile, a Michigan couple is suing Taco Bell and produce supplier Taylor Farms, claiming contaminated lettuce left them seriously ill during the ongoing cyclospora outbreak. Preston and Marie Parrish of Duran filed a federal lawsuit July 17th, alleging they became sick after eating shredded iceberg lettuce at a Taco Bell in Shiawassee County on June 30th. The lawsuit claims the lettuce was contaminated with Cyclospora, that parasite, and alleges negligence, unsafe processing practices, and violations of Michigan's consumer protection laws. The couple seeking more than $75,000 in damages. Federal health officials have linked the multi-state outbreak to shredded lettuce served at Taco Bell locations, with more than 1,600 confirmed illnesses across 5 states, including Michigan. As you know, we have the most with 6,500. Taco Bell and Taylor Farms have not yet responded to the lawsuit, and the allegations have not been proven in a court of law as of yet.
It was a battle between Senator Gary Peters and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth yesterday at his testimony. The new total cost of this war with Iran sits at around $37 billion. Pete Hegseth was on Capitol Hill making the case for more. And it was Senator Gary Peters who said it's not a lack of money, it's not a lack of willpower or effort by our soldiers, it's a lack of leadership and strategy.
You, sir, are the failure, not the men and women who are on that front line, not the men and women who hold up their honor with distinction. But if there's a lack of a winning strategy, they're in harm's way. Their leaders have failed them. And that's what's happening. We have political leadership. You don't have a strategy. You don't have a long-term plan to actually win this war. Win the war. The men and women are going to be able to do it, but they need to have leadership. When will you show leadership? When will you show leadership?
Why don't you show some leadership and stand up to your fellow Democrats who won't fund the troops, who stand and play partisan politics while you don't give us the money? You want to stand up here and talk about the troops? You won't show any political courage to actually fund our department because you have Trump derangement syndrome and can't actually commit to anything meaningful. So I put this on you, Senator.
Secretary Hegseth, you have trillions, you have over $1 trillion. You're asking for $1.5 trillion. It's not a question of money. It's a question of leadership and understanding what it takes to actually win.
Political cowardice of Democrats who won't fund the troops.
The back and forth.
Wow.
In that hearing yesterday.
There was a lot of back and forth.
There was a lot of back and forth
with other senators
as you can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. That was Gary Peters. Meanwhile, what will happen with Tarek Skubal? That is the question.
I don't
Tigers
know.
got to play really good baseball
between now and what? August
3rd. There's a report from ESPN that right now, as we sit here today at 7:11:40 on a Wednesday morning,
hump day,
on July 22nd, that Tarek Skubal will stay on this roster and they're going to try to make a run.
Okay.
But if they don't play really, really, really good baseball, according to this report on ESPN, he could be had.
And what, go to?
I don't pick a place. I don't know. The Dodgers probably.
Dodgers, yeah.
That seemed would be the most likely landing spot.
Yeah.
But that's there's a lot of ifs. I mean, they would have to play almost unbelievable baseball to get to 85, 86 wins.
Yeah.
I mean, you're playing way, 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 way above your pay grade.
What if you're playing really good, really good baseball up into the third, and then fall off after the third?
Yeah. And then you get nothing for Skubal.
Right.
And then he walks away and you're left with a bag of air.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hey.
And that's probably not good for the development of this team when you're trying to add talent, add bats, add guys that are going to be contributors into the future. 7:12, time for WJR's Business Beat, brought to you by Shelving.com. We rack your world. Here's Jeff Sloan, the founder and CEO of Startup Nation, to spotlight the entrepreneurial tech and startup community on WJR.
Good morning. If you're listening to the Business Beat this morning, you're likely on your way to work, like most of us. And speaking of work, CNBC has recently released its rankings of the top states in the U.S. for doing business. To rank America's top states for business by CNBC in 2026, CNBC scored all 50 states on 138 metrics in 10 broad categories of competitiveness. The fundamentals of the study, now in its 20th year, remain the same, identifying the factors companies consider when making site selection decisions and where states are focusing their economic development efforts to win jobs and business. Each category is weighted based on how frequently states use them as a selling point. The top states categories have been largely consistent since the first study was conducted in 2007. However, CNBC does reweight the categories annually to reflect current market dynamics. And the biggest change in 2026, Infrastructure is now the top weighted category as companies pursue strategic locations close to transport hubs. Top utilities, access to fresh water and abundant energy to power things like advanced manufacturing and data centers, for example, are key factors. And businesses want it all without red tape. For the first time in 2026, CNBC factored in ease of permitting into their rankings methodology, followed now by the weighting factor associated with a state's local economy. And so under the methodology, states can earn a maximum of 2,500 points. The states with the most points, well, those are America's top states for doing business. And without further ado, here's the top 10, starting with number 1, Ohio. Number 2, North Carolina. 3, Virginia. 4, Texas. 5, Minnesota. And how about number 6, our great state of Michigan? Number 7, Georgia. Number 8, Florida. 9, Tennessee. And number 10, Indiana. Noticeably, the Midwest did well in these rankings as a great center for doing business. And of course, Michigan fares extremely well, coming in at number 6 best state in the country for doing business. I'm Jeff Sloan, founder and CEO of StartupNation.com, and that's today's Business Beat on the great voice of the Great Lakes, WJR.
When your operation evolves, your storage should keep up. Shop adjustable solutions like wire shelving to heavy-duty Unirack pallet racking. Same-day pickup, next business day shipping. Stop by the Madison Heights showroom and see it for yourself.
Shelving.com, we rack your world.
Hey there, WJR listeners. Chris Alberta here at Principium. Listen, your bucket of money, that precious little gem that's taken you a lifetime to accumulate, has been growing. And if you're anything like all of my clients, you were worried that it might not be enough to supplement your retirement, especially if the markets have a downturn. All these incredible investment and insurance tools these days, they've been designed to address specific problems and concerns. But most folks I see every week, they have the wrong stuff. You know why? Because no one's taking the time to actually invest in them and diagnose the actual problem, the actual concern. Yeah, look, my process, it's laborious, but it's worth it. The results and the peace of mind are a byproduct of us learning together. If you're retired or nearing retirement, it's time for you to dig in with me. We can increase the reward and we can decrease the risk. It's a win-win. So stop going to steak dinners, free steak dinners offered by financial salespeople. Invest in yourself with me at my office on your timetable with zero pressure. Call me today, Chris Alberta at Principium, 1-888-800-8949.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. An elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
After avoiding debates for months, John James just made it clear why. When questioned by Perry Johnson about his support for the reviled kill switch mandate and being funded by data center developers, John James strangely replied,
I know when you were born, black people could still be bought and sold in this country, but no one owns me.
Huh? John James went right to the Democrat strategy of playing the race card. John James is no conservative. He's a lying liberal. John James is governor? Terrifying thought. Perry Johnson is our conservative choice. Non-politician, real Republican, really smart. Helps save the American automobile industry and can apply the same skills to get Michigan back on track. Perry Johnson for Michigan.
I'm Perry Johnson, and I approve this message. Paid for by Perry Johnson for Governor.
Michigan's Magnificent 11 might be your ultimate golf experience. 11 distinct spectacular courses from Boyne Golf, including the new 9-hole short course, Dune Bray. Boyne Golf was named the #3 best golf resort in the United States in USA Today Reader's Choice 2026. So visit BoyneGolf.com today and book your ultimate golf experience. That's BoyneGolf.com.
WJR traffic and weather first.
This report is sponsored by MGM Grand Detroit. Get ready to win big this summer at MGM Grand Detroit. Earn entries into the Friday drawings for a chance at the $40,000 Progressive cash prize. If it's not claimed by July 31st, it turns into a guaranteed grand prize of $200,000 cash. See the MGM Rewards desk for details. 21 and up.
We are currently accident-free on the area roadways here on your Wednesday morning commute. We do have the Fort Street Bridge. That's closed in both directions between Oakwood Boulevard and Miller Road. That's closed until further notice. Please avoid that area. Construction has the 2 left lanes closed. That's causing slowdowns on the Southfield Freeway northbound between Ford Road and I-96. You'll find construction has your left lane closed. I-94 westbound between Harper Avenue and Little Mac. That's scheduled until 7 o'clock Friday evening, and we're experiencing slowdowns due to heavier volumes. I-275 northbound between Ann Arbor Road and M14, as well as 94 eastbound between West Grand Boulevard and Trumbull Street. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Here's your forecast.
Clear this morning, then a sunny and breezy afternoon. The high today around 75. We'll see increasing clouds this evening with an overnight low in the mid-50s, and sunny and a little bit warmer tomorrow with a high near 78. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Jeff Marr on 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
I'm Kevin Dietz. Coming up on All Talk, we are on the road, and it is going to be a ton of fun. We are taking you out to the GM Tech Center to celebrate America 250. Yes, it's America's birthday, and All Talk is still celebrating with special reports and interviews all morning long. Plus, we talk with former Governor Ambassador to Canada, James Blanchard. All Talk is 9 to noon. You can stream us anytime at WJR.com.
So that Canadian wildfire smoke that blanketed our area last week, it did more than just keep us inside.
Yeah.
According to new analysis conducted by the Anderson Economic Group. $4 billion in economic losses.
Well, keeping us inside kept us from going places and
Keeping-
kept us from spending money. So, I mean,
exactly.
I can kind of see the correlation there.
Preliminary estimates say that Michigan found $4 billion in direct economic losses from the Canadian and northern Minnesota wildfires. That is second only to the state of New York, which estimated losses totaled around $5 billion. Put the fires out. Take a big bucket of water up there and just get those things out. We can't afford to lose money like this. Patrick Anderson's the principal and CEO of stated Anderson Economic Group. Patrick, good morning. It's good to have you back.
Good morning to you.
$4 billion, huh?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. You got 10 million people here, and we essentially told them not to go outside for 4 days. We told a state that relies on tourism that it's dangerous for people to go outside on beaches, to go out for hikes in woods. We had people who are in manufacturing facilities who, at least according to some reports, some had to be pulled out for medical attention because of inhalation of the particulate. So, yes, when you take 10 million people and you give them hazardous or very, difficult to breathe air for 4 days, it costs us some money.
And, a lot of businesses never officially close, but they still lose customers. I was just telling Chris, they still lose customers because people simply just stay at home. How difficult is it to measure those kind of hidden economic losses?
It's not easy. And this is an estimate that took us quite some time to go through, and we do it conservatively. So it would be quite easy to come up with a number much larger. In fact, there's estimates from Canada about loss to Canadians from Canadian wildfires that are much, much larger than what we have here. I mean, $4 billion is a significant amount of money, but again, agriculture, tourism, manufacturing, outdoor activities are all really important in our economy. And if you have this kind of, smoke exported into our state, it is going to cost us, and it costs New York, it costs Wisconsin, and it costs other states as well.
Paul Isley, the economist at Grand Valley, said that your report estimates direct economic losses, but there are indirect costs that came with this as well. What would those be?
He's right on that, and appreciate them, being careful about what we did. We did not estimate, for example, any health effects. We didn't attempt to put a dollar on, with somebody with asthma or somebody that had difficulties. We didn't put anything in there for, next year we're not going to go to Michigan because last year we had a bad time. We didn't have any of those in there. But you're right, indirect effects can be very large, and we want people to think of Michigan as a beautiful state because it is, and we want them to come back. So we would prefer if Canada didn't have this kind of very large wildfires on a regular basis.
President Trump has argued that Canada needs to compensate the United States for, the economic damage caused by the fires. And he's, threatened tariffs. He has put tariffs on some things. From an economic standpoint, would the tariffs address the problem or potentially create some new ones?
I think it's the latter here. I mean, there's an argument that other countries, when they have that kind of smoke going across or other things, ought to help or compensate in some manner another country. But in this case, the tariffs, in particular the auto tariffs, the steel and the aluminum tariffs, have really hurt American workers and American consumers. The Anderson Economic Group estimate is in 2025, $12.5 billion absorbed just on parts and cars from Canada and Mexico, and that's absorbed by Americans. So our analysis has been that the Section 232 tariffs and steel aluminum tariffs have been expensive for the auto industry, for auto consumers, and I wouldn't suggest making them more expensive in a misguided attempt to punish Canada.
How difficult is it to claw back from these kind of losses?
Well, we are going to claw back from it. I mean, $4 billion is $4 billion, but Michigan's economy is not done, and a lot of industries themselves were not affected. Tourism, agriculture, some manufacturing was. Some of the outside activities were, but Americans are resilient, and the U.S. economy is a marvel. So we estimate losses on things like that, but we don't assume things grind to a halt. We don't assume that people stop living, stop trying to build businesses. And that's all good for us. I mean, we've been through so much in the United States, and we're going to be through more. And yeah, this cost us some money, but we're going to go forward.
And Patrick, if the wildfire smoke becomes this new normal rather than the exception, how do you think Michigan businesses and workers and policymakers began preparing now for what could become, something that's a recurring economic challenge?
I sure hope it does not become recurring because it would be devastating for our tourism industry. You can't ask people to continue to come to Michigan if every year we're going to have a whole weekend or a whole week where it's hazardous to go outside. So, we're treating this as a one-time item. Canada does have a wildfire problem, some of it from arson, and some of it from forest mismanagement or non-management, and some of it because wildfires occur. And I certainly hope that Canada gets a handle on this because we don't want to see this. And of course, Canada doesn't want to see it either. It would be very bad for Michigan.
Yeah. Patrick Anderson, always good to catch up. Thank you. We appreciate you. We'll talk soon.
Okay. Take care.
Yeah, you got it.
The health part of it, obvious because it's unhealthy for those who have respiratory problems, asthma, COPD, those things like that. But when you start talking about the businesses and losing $4 billion, that's not chump change.
We, my wife and I went out for a little while one of those days. I don't remember which day, but there were still a lot of people out. I think it was that Friday. A lot of people out still, but you could tell it was a little lighter. Than normal. Take a break. More next on JR Morning.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 30% with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 215-215. That's HIM to 215-215. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Paid for by Adaptive Health.
Fox News, I'm Gianna Gelosi. U.S. forces conducting their 11th night of strikes in Iran as Trump says he has no interest in meeting with Tehran until they're ready to convene in a meaningful way. Secretary of State Marco Rubio speaking this morning from Manila.
We'd love to have an agreement where they say we'll no longer sponsor terrorism and we will not pursue a nuclear weapon or the things you need for a nuclear weapon. I think there's a lack of confidence, is the lack of confidence that the Iranian regime will ever agree to any of those things.
The Gulf Coast bracing for impact as Tropical Storm Bertha is expected to make landfall today. Fox Weather's Marissa Torres in New Orleans.
Local impacts for New Orleans would also be along the coast, the coastal waters where we do have some surge that's expected around 2 to 4 feet. For those low-lying coastal roads, those could be inundated and impassable as we get through some high tide cycles today and by tomorrow morning.
And that's Fox Weather's Marissa Torres. America's listening to Fox News.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Discover. When you hear a good idea, it's natural to do a double take. That's what you might do when you hear Discover will automatically double all the cash back you've earned on your credit card at the end of your first year with Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
We have a couple of problems on the area roadways here on your Wednesday morning commute. You'll find an accident on the I-275 northbound off-ramp to westbound I-96 Fort Street Bridge. That's closed in both directions between Oakwood Boulevard and Miller Road. Avoid that area until further notice. Construction has the 2 left lanes closed, causing slowdowns on the Southfield Freeway northbound between Ford Road and I-96. That's scheduled till 4 o'clock this afternoon, and roadwork has your left lane closed. I-94 westbound between Harper and Little Mac Avenue. That's scheduled till 7 p.m. on Friday evening. Now, WJR weather first. From the Weather Channel, a mix of sun and clouds for the day today. High of 75 degrees, partly cloudy skies overnight. Low of 56 and mostly sunny skies for the day on Thursday with a high of 78. I'm Jason Fissler for WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This summer, cool down the Michigan way with Guernsey Farms Dairy. Their legendary ice cream is made right here in Michigan, and nothing beats their refreshing lemonade, which we know is the official lemonade of Mackinac Island. Whether you're hitting the lake, hosting a backyard barbecue, or just soaking up the sunshine, Guernsey's got your summer cravings covered. They have been the staple in Michigan fridges for over 80 years, and I choose to have the ice cream, the lemonade in our house. When John McGuire started Guernsey Farms Dairy, he had a vision, and now it's continued with the family's third generation. John wanted to create a legacy for his family and the community, and the McGuire family is proud to continue that work today. Guernsey now delivers over 70,000 gallons of milk a week because of their great team and its partnership with one of Michigan's oldest family-owned fourth-generation dairy processors, Walnutdale Farms in Wayland, Michigan. Remember, when looking for Guernsey's award-winning milk, ice cream, and lemonade, make sure to visit your local grocer or stop by their store and restaurant in Northville for an experience like no other.
Most people never collect $1 of the money they're owed in a car accident. We're going to change that.
If you were in a car accident that wasn't your fault, Michigan law says you may be owed up to $3,000. But that right doesn't last forever. One form online, we do the rest. Completely free. It's your money. We'll go get it.
Visit 3kforfree.com. Up to $3,000, zero fees. Only at Michigan Auto Law Auto Accident Attorneys. People over everything.
Some things can steal your sunshine.
Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 30% with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
On your ride home, check out the Mitch Albom Show at 4 p.m. Now to get your day started, here's JR Morning with Chris Renwick, Lloyd Jackson, and Jamie Edmonds.
All right, there's a couple of things I'd like to talk about.
Okay.
If you could indulge me.
I'm going to indulge you the best I can.
All right. Let's start with this. So, I moved, sold our house, moved, and one of the things that we did, which is very liberating, is you get rid of stuff.
Yeah.
Right. I would have liked to have gotten rid of about 98% of our things.
And you'd be surprised at how much you accumulate over the time.
But I was not allowed to do that. I was given
You were given orders?
the stop sign. No, I was the orders were strict, and I cannot get rid of everything we own. Okay. But here's what I did come across. And it's silly because I think I kept them. And I only kept them because they were already boxed away. It was already done. I didn't really have to do anything. I just put a sticker on it and the movers took it away.
Okay.
But I did keep DVDs because I thought over the last 15 years that if I buy DVDs, maybe one day they'll be collector's items. I just like to buy movies.
Well, same with records and things like people, people would have records and stuff in hopes that they would become a collector's item. So, I mean, okay.
Lloyd, I'd like you to ask me a question.
Okay.
I'd like you to ask me how many DVD players I own.
How many DVD players do you own, Christopher?
I own one DVD player. Do you know where it's located?
Probably boxed up somewhere.
In my wife's car.
You guys watch movies in the car?
No, but the kids do.
Okay.
I don't own a DVD player that exists in my home.
At the time, though, when you were collecting these DVDs, you didn't know that you were not going to have a DVD player.
No, I just thought, why would I keep this DVD player? This thing is obsolete. It collects dust. I don't use it. I don't even know if it still works. Get rid of it. Now, I got rid of it years ago.
Okay.
So these DVDs have just been sitting in a box in my basement, just there. Now, I kept them for some reason. I don't know why. I should have just thrown the entire box away. Which brings me to the question. What is something that you keep around that you have no use for, that is maybe something obsolete, something that you don't have, that you don't need, there's no use for it, but you still keep it? You can't get rid of it. You got anything like that?
Probably CDs. I mean, I'm not saying CDs are obsolete. I mean, 'cause I guess you can find CD players, but I got a bunch of CDs, and I don't, necessarily have a CD player.
You know what's weird is I threw a lot of CDs away.
But you didn't throw away.
But I didn't throw away the DVDs. I'm a sick individual. I don't know why I think the way I do. What do you got back there that you have that you don't need?
I discovered, in fact, 2 days ago in my basement, I was rooting around looking through this junk. I have a DVD VCR combo unit down there. Yeah.
Big time.
Put that bad boy on eBay. That's a collector's item.
But I have a ton of DVDs too that my wife wants me to get rid of. It's like, no, I might want to watch that one day.
But you won't. Here's the thing is you won't.
No, I probably won't. But
you'll never watch it.
But
No.
I have the potential to do it if I wanted to.
See? What's the matter with us?
Sometimes we can be hoarders of certain things.
Yeah.
It is kind of hoarding.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
800-859-0957, 800-859-0WJR. What's one of the dumb things you keep around that you just don't need, that you don't use, that you don't even look at? That's the thing is, it's if you have like a little, a little tchotchke or whatever, something that you have, you see it every day. Maybe you don't actually see it, but it's there. It's part of the house. Like that's one thing, right?
Yeah.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
But if it's something that you literally, it's not even in my psyche that I own it.
Yeah.
It's just a way.
And I've lived my life for the last so many years.
Right.
Without it.
I haven't watched a DVD.
What was the last time?
I have no idea. I don't know. Maybe in college? I have no idea. I have no idea.
Yeah. I mean, so
what do we keep it around for? It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Okay.
All right. This I love.
I know you do.
I love it.
I know you do.
Have you ever wanted to time travel?
Never thought about it.
Well,
saw it on TV.
It's coming.
In real life.
In real life. For real life, as they say in Bluey.
Okay.
A time traveler from 2024 has made his way back to the United States.
Oh.
Made his way back to our time.
An actual traveler.
He says he is from 2045. And he delivered a series of alarming predictions about what lies ahead, all while connected to a polygraph machine, which he aced with flying colors. No lies told here. One of the things he says is that he came back, and this is vacations.
Okay.
For people in the future. They don't go to Bonita Springs or Phoenix or
Florida or
what.
Miami.
They don't go anywhere like that. They travel 2 times.
Gotcha.
Instead of to destinations.
And where did he get his stuff from?
And one of the things he says.
How much has he been smoking?
One of the things.
That's some really good stuff.
The peyote is strong in 2045. Among his claims was that we will be microchipped.
Like a dog?
By 2045. He says, I do have an implanted chip in my hand known as the One.
We can make him stronger. We can make him better. Sounds like Steve Austin. Sounds like the $6 million man.
You can merge with robots. There's holograms involved. There's there's no global currency anymore. Everything's on your hand.
Okay.
In this chip. It goes in your right hand, he said. It goes in your right hand.
Gotcha.
Aliens will make first contact with us. Apparently in 2 years. Really a year and a half. This is 2028. So I'm on board with that. Let's talk.
I know you're
I want
ready
to chop
for
it up. I have questions.
Yes.
I'm on board with this.
Okay.
He says it is true that aliens did land on Earth in August of 2028. So 2 years away.
Okay.
He says we've known of the existence in aliens before 2028, but it wasn't until 2028 that it became public knowledge. They kept it secret until they released it publicly, he said. He also says zoos will continue to be a mainstay in community life.
So zoos like animals.
2020, yeah, zoo.
Go see
like the Detroit Zoo.
Yeah, okay.
But you will be able to see like a T-Rex or a Velociraptor or a Triceratops, which we know goes really well. That all of that, when they bring, dinosaurs back, nothing ever goes wrong.
So do you have to go see them? You have to transport yourself to where?
No. You just go.
Oh.
In your current timeline. In 2045, you could just go to the Detroit Zoo.
And see dinosaurs.
And there will be a dinosaur there.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Every answer to every question he was given, he passed the polygraph.
Because he believes it.
He believes it. He is a time traveler.
They go by pulse and, heartbeat and all that stuff. You believe it, and your pulse and your heartbeat's not going crazy. You pass.
I hate to say this. I hate to be the one to bring this up. I'm pretty sure he's crazy.
I will say it is fair analysis. That's fair analysis.
I'm going to bring back a dinosaur. And it's going to be my pet. That ends well. We all know that.
Well, now this is my thing though. So you can
Is Jeff Goldblum
exactly
one of the
right exactly
one of the zoo workers?
We'll be able to travel to. Are we going to be able to do this? When will we be able to? What year will we be able to?
2028, I think he said.
So in 2028, we'll be able to do this travel.
Time travel.
So we can go back in time.
Yeah.
So
this
can
guy's
we
here.
go back in
He's
time
back.
from like maybe our parents who maybe are not here anymore?
I think you can do whatever you want.
I can go back to West Virginia and see my mom's house and my dad's house in Moultrie, Georgia, and I can do that. Now, if you know, now I'm acting like I believe it. No, but I'm just saying.
It's like, where do I?
I think I'm going to go back and find my younger self and slap him and tell him to study, or you're going to be working on radio the rest of your life.
Lloyd just put a little X on the top of his hand where the chip goes.
I'm like, man, I'm like, if I can do that, maybe okay. But then I'm saying, hold it. What am I saying? What am I talking about? Okay.
Let's put Lloyd on the polygraph.
we need to put him on polygraph. We'll take a break. Coming up on the other side, data centers don't have eminent domain. We'll explain. It's JR Morning.
Point.
Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
Oh, I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down.
Ace.
You're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Welcome to Making the Impossible Possible with Henry Ford Health. With us today is Dr. Amit Mohindra, the 2025 Game on Cancer MVP. Dr. Mohindra, could you tell us what Game on Cancer is?
Game on Cancer was built on a simple, unwavering belief that no patient should choose between essential care and everyday necessities. Thanks to the dedication of our community, we've raised over $10.8 million, reduced financial pressure for more than 12,000 cancer patients, and advanced innovative research.
Wow! What's your goal, and how does Game on Cancer make a difference?
This year, our goal is to raise $1.2 million to support our patients when and where they need it most. Game on Cancer funds are invested in 3 categories, which include support for patients' daily essential needs like utilities, housing, and more, supportive oncology programs like acupuncture and exercise classes, and leading-edge cancer research.
That's great. So you're the 2025 MVP. What does that mean?
The MVP, or Most Valuable Physician competition, is a friendly fundraiser with Henry Ford Cancer Physicians. Each donation counts as a vote, and every dollar raised goes directly toward our mission. The physician who raises the most wins the title of MVP, but the real victory is what we do to support our patients together.
To join or form a team, visit GameOnCancer.com.
Summer is just around the corner. Crystal here from Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, reminding you to schedule your summer service today. Don't wait for the heat to hit. For a worry-free home, visit FamilyHeating.com and call to schedule your summer service today.
The Rocket Classic returns July 30th through August 2nd at the historic Detroit Golf Club. Tickets are selling fast. This is the one you want to show up for, because at the Classic, you're right there, up against the action, along the fairways and greens of a beautifully restored course. It's world-class golf, remixed with music, food, and the soul of Detroit. The Rocket Classic, presented by Alumnify, undeniably Detroit. Grab tickets while they last at rocketclassic.com.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's.
Pro Rewards members save more during Lowe's Pro Savings Days. Save up to 20% on in-stock molding when you spend $250 and up to 20% on in-stock pre-hung interior doors when you buy 6 or more. Valid through 7/31 while supplies last. Selection varies. See Lowe's.com for details.
We have a couple of problems on the area roadways here. On your Wednesday morning commute, you'll find a crash on the I-275 northbound off-ramp to westbound I-96, as well as an accident 94 westbound at US 23. That's causing slowdowns back to Huron Street. The Fort Street Bridge, that's closed until further notice in both directions between Oakwood Boulevard and Miller Road. And roadwork has the 2 left lanes closed, causing slowdowns on the Southfield Freeway northbound between Ford Road and I-96. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Here's your forecast.
Back to dry weather if you're going to be out on this Wednesday. Clear this morning, a sunny and breezy afternoon with a high to mid-70s. Clouds will increase this evening with a low tonight down to 56. And a sunny Thursday with a high of 78. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Jeff Marr on 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Call us or text us. The number's the same. 1-800-859-0957. 1-800-859-WJR. Powered by Michigan Auto Law, Auto Accident Attorneys. Visit autolaw.com. That's autolaw.com.
All right, so a little bit of feedback on the text line, 800-859-0957, 800-859-0WJR. On the question of, all right, what do you have that you just don't need? I said DVDs. I don't even have a DVD player. But somebody texted in from a 734 area code. We use our DVD player once a year. It is our Thanksgiving family tradition to play the Christmas Vacation DVD, which was left in the player from the year before. It's a pretty good family tradition.
It is.
I like that tradition.
True tradition.
From a 586 number, I can go back and ride my Stingray 10-speed bike from 1960.
Oh, boy. I had a Stingray swing.
Sign them up.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good.
I did.
That's pretty good. Meanwhile, data centers and property rights here in the state of Michigan. One of the things that has been asked is, how does eminent domain play into this? Well, data center proposals are popping up all around the state, and those questions on how developers can take the land to build and what local governments can do to control to where these facilities end up. And State Representative Jennifer Wartz, the Republican out of the 35th District and Vice Chair of the House Agricultural Committee, has addressed these concerns and joins us this morning to talk about it. Representative, good morning. It's good to have you.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you so much for hosting me.
So these data centers and green energy infrastructure, on the issue of eminent domain, do they cross over?
Well, I appreciate the question. And no, the reality is they do not. So I think there's been some confusion put out there. When it comes to electrical infrastructure and upgrades, power lines and the distribution, those are where eminent domain come into effect. But when it comes to the green energy mandate and on your personal property, you have a choice as a landowner. You also have a choice as a landowner whether or not you want to sell your property for development. And so the simple fact is no, they do not. And I think there's been some confusion put out, and that's why I put forward a statement last week that I just wanted people to understand that you are not obligated to sign these contracts or to sell your ground for data centers.
If private developers don't have eminent domain authority, Representative, why are so many property owners still worried about losing their land?
I think, I'm not sure. I haven't talked, obviously, when a person comes from looking to buy ground, but I have heard in my own district in situations where they are pressured at the door by the land agent to sell. And I think they're being misinformed. They're being told half truths or partial truths. And the law does not require this. And so that's why I just want people to understand that you are not under any obligation. If you do not want to sell your ground for development, you're not obligated to do so. Now, on the flip side of that, what that could mean is that if you drive ever around and you see maybe there's a lone house and then there's been development all around it, you could end up being that lone house if all of your neighbors decide to sell. But the solution to that is that, and what I've encouraged in my own district, is come together as a community. When you hear about these issues, show up at your township meetings, go to your zoning commission meetings within your township or your municipality, be informed about what's going on, unite as landowners and decide, is this something you want in your community or not? And if not, then, form a group, a cooperative, and hold fast to maintaining your land and your property rights.
Well, it seems like local municipalities are certainly fielding more of these calls, these proposals, and one of the ways that they're dealing with it is these zoning ordinances. And some local communities have even changed the way they define the zoning ordinance as well. How is that playing a role here?
Well, again, so, a township, a county needs to have a master plan in place. Those are actually required already. If it's not a township that's owned, then it's within the county master plan. Again, individuals need to show up to those meetings to be informed about what's going on. Everything is always open to public comment, so voicing your opinion. When a township decides to become zoned or to change their zoning ordinance, again, there has to be a process for that. They have to take public input. There has to be transparency. I think some of the issues that have arisen out of where these data centers have gone and the concern, look at Saline Township, for example, is that some of this was done long before landowners knew what was going on there. And so that's why it's important to show up and be involved as a local member of your community to be aware of what's going on. Maybe that means you can't go every week, but again, if you join together with community members and somebody's there every week to know, or at every meeting to know what's going on, then you have an informed person within your community aware of what's going on.
Do you think Michigan's current laws provide enough transparency and protection for these landowners, or is there more the legislature should be doing?
Well, I introduced a data center moratorium bill back in February. Not that I'm entirely opposed to data centers. I understand that, with technology, data centers aren't going away, and to have our data stored locally on our soil in our country, I think is a good thing. But where are they going? Again, let's look at master plans. What's already zoned industrial? Where are brownfields? Where can we put these in logical places instead of clearing 250 more acres of farm ground or taking land that's already zoned agriculture, rezoning it so then we can develop it? That to me is what is ridiculous, and it just continues to overreach into our rural communities and disrupt good agriculture land. And so I think that's where there needs to be good guardrails and better guidance put in place, better incentives in development. I think that's something we could do better in the legislature, is to incentivize redevelopment of some of these brownfields. And then obviously we need really good guardrails around who's paying for the energy expansion and ensuring the water is not overused, and that the noise ordinances are followed and complied with, which again, that can all be done by townships, however.
Right. State Representative Jennifer Warts, thank you for your time this morning. We appreciate it. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah, you got it. Former DPD Chief James Craig, Jim Blanchard, set to join the show in the next hour. We'll take a break. More next.
Summer storms can spell disaster for your roof and more. At Home Genius Exteriors, we stop the damage before it starts. Call now during our summer savings event and get 50% off materials for your new roof. Plus, no interest and no payments till 2027. Call Home Genius Exteriors at 866-451-5470 to schedule your free roof and attic inspection. That's 866-451-5470. Home Genius Exteriors, the genius choice in roofing. See website for details.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more. I just took a COVID test. Ugh. Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit Pfizerforall.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 30% with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Life is beautiful and fragile. We fall. We get tired. And sometimes we get sick. But with Corewell Health, we are also strong. We fight disease. We battle cancer. We come together. We come back. We push forward. When the body breaks, we break through. Corewell Health. We can.
This is the great voice of the Great Lakes. 760 WJR, Detroit, a Cumulus media station.
After the talking stopped, the bombing of Iran continues. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The U.S. military launched airstrikes an 11th straight night, hitting military facilities and drone storage, trying to degrade Iran's ability to keep attacking ships in the Strait of Hormuz.
We remain open to diplomacy. We remain open to working it out in a negotiated way. But right now, they don't seem to be serious about that. And so we're going to continue to protect shipping.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that this morning in the Philippines after meeting with China's foreign minister.
They've been pretty clear that they don't support any tolling or restrictions on global shipping through an international waterway.
Only a few ships got through the strait yesterday, and this morning oil prices keep rising back up. WTI back to around $88 a barrel, $20 higher than when July started, and the price of the gas pump's gone up 17 cents since last Wednesday. Later this morning, the commander-in-chief will go to Delaware, where 4 flag-draped caskets will arrive. American troops killed last week in Jordan and Iraq.
President Trump says it will be a great honor to pay his respects to the American service members at the dignified transfer today at Dover Air Force Base. Last night, the Department of War announced another soldier killed in last weekend's enemy attack. Sergeant Angel S. Ramperstad, 28 years old, of Ozone Park, New York, bringing the total number of service members killed in the conflict to 18.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. A Trump-backed Republican congressman could be Arizona's next governor.
I have every bit of confidence that we're going to win. We're going to get our message out, our message of restoring the American dream to Arizona.
Andy Biggs will try to unseat Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs in November. Biggs got more than 70% of the vote, beating fellow Congressman David Schweikert in the GOP primary. 2 other Trump-backed Republicans also won primaries. Mark Lamb trying to replace Biggs in Congress. Former NFL kicker Jay Feely is vying to take Schweikert's House seat. A Democratic congressman in Arizona fended off a challenge from the left. Greg Stanton beat a Democrat socialist in the primary. America's listening to Fox News.
WJR traffic and weather first.
This report is sponsored by RockAuto.com.
Fool, Ben Tyrod, what are you going to do?
I'm way ahead of you. I'll be on RockAuto.com before you can even finish this commercial.
He's right. RockAuto.com. Parts when you need them.
All the parts your car will ever need. Rock Auto.
I-275 northbound at I-96. That accident has cleared. We do have a crash I-94 westbound at US 23, as well as an accident I-75 northbound at I-96. That's causing backups to Livernois Avenue. The Fort Street Bridge is closed in both directions between Oakwood Boulevard and Miller Road. Avoid that area until further notice. And you'll find construction has the 2 left lanes closed, causing slowdowns on the Southfield Freeway northbound between Ford Road and I-96. That's scheduled till 4 o'clock this afternoon. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. A mix of sun and clouds for the day today. High of 75 degrees. Partly cloudy skies overnight with a low of 56. And mostly sunny skies for the day on Thursday. High of 78. I'm Jason Fissler for WJR Traffic and Weather First.
Are you an adult with uncontrolled moderate to severe Crohn's disease symptoms and still packing a backup bag of clothes? Just in case, Skyrizi Risankizumab Riza can help you take control of your Crohn's. Feel significant symptom relief, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements at 4 weeks. Plus, Skyrizi is proven to help people achieve remission and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Individual results may vary. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's. Ready to take control of your Crohn's? Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's disease.
Control is everything to me.
Learn more at skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI.
Hey there, JR listeners. Chris Alberta from Principium. Look, I have an urgent message for you today about your retirement. I don't care if you already retired, you're a few months away, or you're